and welcome back to the channel. Name's Kevin. I do a podcast called Coffee, Cars, and Horror, etc. And I'm just showing my collection around if anybody's interested. I have previously showed you my '04 Cobra. If you haven't seen it, check out the channel and see it. It's also on the podcast. I do a lot of episodes, so you'll have to scan through it and see it, but it's listed. But I wanted to show another item that I have. Excuse the bumper, the bugs on the car. It gets driven some, and I ran into some bugs, and I got to get them cleaned. But um, but we're going to talk about my other vehicle. Oh, got another scratch, not scratch, but another bug marking on the hood. And that is my motorcycle, and that is a 2009 Harley Davidson V-Rod Muscle. I've had this since uh, late 2009. I am not the original owner. I bought it off of the finance manager at my local Harley dealership. It took me probably a month of negotiating and working out the details to own this bike, as I had a budget in mind, and they would contact me every day trying to get me to waiver, and I just would not waiver off of it. And I did waiver off, I think, $9 or $10, and they finally agreed. So I ended up buying it late December of '09, or it may have been early 2010, January of 2010. I think I just bought it in '09 in December, but it could have been January of 10. But either way, it wasn't that old. It didn't have a whole lot of miles on it. And I just went and the story of me getting this bike is rather funny. My cousin had a Road Glide, I think, and I just looked at it. I went on the website and I looked at it because it was fairly new, and I was like, well, I don't know. I'll check it out. And when I checked it out, I was like, that's just kind of. And I was younger at the time. I was like, that's more of a cruiser bike. It's kind of just not my style. So I was like, well, okay, we'll you know um, uh, talk to uh, see what they have, if there's anything that I do like. I'm definitely not going to get the Road Glide. So I was like, well, I'll look and see. And I laid eyes on the 2009 V-Rod Muscle, and I said, and I love the huge tire and the exhaust and stuff on it. I was like, wait a minute, this is the bike for me. So I went up there and looked, and they had one there that I was looking at, but I think it was vivid black when I bought it, and the sales manager, I think, or finance manager ended up buying it. So it wasn't there anymore. They only had one in stock, which, if you know anything about V-Rods nowadays, it wasn't that popular of a bike to a lot of people, because it does have it's liquid cooled, and it wasn't a traditional Harley, so to say, but now it kind of is. And he didn't keep it long, and he changed exhaust on it. He had a Vance and Hines exhaust on it, but he still had the original ones. And then we went and talked. I saw it at the time they had a pre-owned place at the mall trying to sell bikes, and there it was, and it was during like close to Christmas time, and I'm like, man, I'd love to have that bike. So I talked to him, and at the time I had a old Toyota pickup truck that I just had bought, and they were like, well, we'll take that and we'll give you so much money trade in on it. I'm like, well, I guess. And at the time it was a rough shaped Toyota, but it was a little beater truck that I had, and they traded for that, and I got my payment down to I think $9 more than what I said I wanted to pay. It could have been 10. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to let $9, $10 ruin the deal. But then they tried to add all this extra stuff on it to make it thing. I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to buy it. When we went into the office, I said, I'm not doing it. You added all this stuff. So I'm like, no, I don't want it. And then he was like, I'm going to throw in all the exhaust parts that I have and all the calendar with Marissa Miller on it and all this stuff, or not a calendar, but a poster. And I was like, oh, I said, okay. I mean, if you sell it for this price and give me the extra stuff, it was like $9. I said, I'll do it. And when I bought it, then he tried to backtrack out of giving me the parts. And, I just basically sat there and said, I mean, when you get it, he said, well, that was with that other price. I said, I'm not buying, I was like, well, you told me you would give me everything for it. I said, now you're backing out. I said, you're not a very good person of your word. I said, where I come from, your word is, important. But he finally sat there and said, all right, come get the stuff. And he wasn't too nice about it. But I rolled up there and I got the box of the factory exhaust and some of the other little stuff. And it wasn't much. And I really wasn't worried about it. I didn't, still never put the factory exhaust on it to this day. But I have it if I need to. And since then, I've took the vents and Hines off. I did take the baffles out and ran straight baffles before. And now I have a Fitzgerald exhaust system on it. I've got took the whole thing off and sent it off to Aaron Paul up in Utah to get custom painted. He was new at the time, and he gave me a really good deal on it. And he put, the skulls on it and everything. I just love that. I wanted it orange, but it's more red and it's dirty. And excuse me for the dirt. I really got to get it cleaned. And then, I got the bicep backrest. That cost a lot, but it was during a group buy back in the day of the 1130 forms, and it's just been a great bike. I put a air thing on it. I tried different seats. I cannot get that comfortable on this thing anymore. I did put some longer reach pedals as well, and then my buddy Angelo did the gauge cluster for me. I bought several things from Angelo, and he's up in the Netherlands, and I've done a lot for him, and he's done a lot for me. And excuse my ugliness on my picture of me, but I've got a little bit of stuff on it, and it's been a great bike. We've took it to several bike rallies and stuff, and you don't meet much of none of the other B-rods around. It's definitely hard to come by. My friend has a fat bob, and now they do fat bobs, but just something that you don't see that every day. So it's definitely a great bike. I really enjoy it, and I'll do maybe some rides with it and try to talk to you about it and while we're riding or about life in general and stuff. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not very good at this. I'm still fairly new, so just bear with me. But I would like to share my toys with everyone that's interested and see a live picture instead of just pictures. But I'll take more pictures and maybe do some editing and stuff. I don't really do editing. I'm more of a non-editing person. I like the mistakes. I like the rawness in people's stuff. It don't have to be perfect. None of us are, so it don't matter if it's choppy and crappy. If you can't stand that stuff, then I understand. And I'm probably not your channel, but like I say on the podcast, you'll hear me make noises. You'll hear my family make stuff. I mean, it's just one of those things that happen. So if you like any content to do with horror, cars. I do coffee sometimes. I mean, I got coffee in the title, but I really don't drink a whole lot of coffee as much as I like to. I just usually don't get to. But I do drink coffee, and I do talk about coffee every once in a while, but it's not that often. But just one of those things. But if you like it, like it. If you don't like it, tell me what I can do to do better. Check out the podcast, Coffee, Cars, Horror, etc., and I'll get you some more content whenever I can. Hope you like it. If you don't, that's cool. Have a great day. Take care of your wife wife, husband, family, friends, and loved ones. Just take care of everybody, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.